Does anyone second Umetsa's motion?
Kumsa has raised the hand.
Who?
Kumsa.
Okay, Nkomsa, seconds. I now open the speakers list for any discussions. Who would like to go first? Nkomsa?
I think it's a good suggestion, but now we should come up with, we should agree on the amount, and also, we should agree on the amount to be subscribed directly by, if the school fails to clear by an individual, if the school fails to clear the subscription money.
Would anyone else like to contribute? Yes, Nicholas?
Yes, I wanted to seek a clarification from Collins. Yeah, so
okay.
So what you mean is basically that subscription will be two-pronged, where we have, if a chapter is able to pay for their members, they can pay the normal subscription fee that is in the constitution. And if a chapter cannot be able to collect, to pay on behalf of their members, then we have an option of the individual members of the local chapter paying their subscription fees individually. Is that the proposal for this, if I understood it clearly?
Thanks, Luke. I think that's exactly what I mean. If say now, for example, Egerton has paid, we normally pay 10 Gs. If we pay 10 Gs for 2021, 2022, our members don't need to pay. But if they feel philanthropic, they can send the money. That's their own discretion. But if they are not able to pay, they will communicate within the first 3 months that we have not been able to pay. If they still have issues on paying, Egerton members can subscribe directly to MSAKE. So that is when now you come in, because now the school has not paid the normal fee that is in the constitution. But now, instead of cutting off like the whole school, the students who are interested in MSAKE, the local chapter has not been able to pay the normal subscription fee, they can subscribe directly to MSAKE.
All right, thank you. And I think it's a good suggestion overall. But my only concern with that regards to the schools, the local chapters where the membership to the local chapter association is paid as part of the school fees. And I understand your end. University of Nairobi students pay their subscription to AMSUN through their school fees. So maybe we can hear from AMSUN president, representative, or any observer from AMSUN, and maybe they can tell us what they think about that, or if they would be willing to pay after paying that within this as part of the school fees. And overall, I think this is a very good proposal to alleviate a lot of challenges that we have been getting in following up with payment of membership fee from local chapters, especially for those who have been collecting directly from the members, or who have not been collecting, because then if a local chapter fails to pay completely and the whole local association is locked out of some aspects of some services of MSAKE as a whole, then there might be a student within that local chapter who wants to be a full member, and this will give them an opportunity to be a full member and enjoy all the benefits that come with being a MSAKE member. Yeah, so I think those are some of the important aspects that we should consider as we discuss this motion.
Samu, President.
So thank you, Collins, for this suggestion. I have a question. So if members of a certain local chapter don't pay, like the local chapter hasn't paid and the members of the local chapter haven't paid, does that mean that they will not take part in MSAKE's activities? Yeah,
So
please answer that first.
okay. If they don't pay, both of them, like the local chapter has not paid, and say I have not paid as a student. If the EB has an event in Egerton, we'll involve them, no problem. But now, when you're coming, say you want to buy secretary of publications, for example, you should have subscribed also. So overall, the association is still ours. Say they have, say MSAKE has an event in Nakuru, and Egerton has not paid, and maybe they have 10 students who have paid alone. And in the event, they need like 30 students. The 10 will come, no problem. Then the other ones will come because it's still our association. So we don't want to remove that bit where we are dismissing an association totally because you have not subscribed per se. So it keeps the umbrella bit of it. But now there are some bits where you won't enjoy being a MSAKE member for you not subscribing. For example, going to the GA, it has to go through the EB. For you, say, to go to an FMSA GA, you have to go through the EB. So if you are not subscribed, I don't think the EB will allow you to go, for example. Applications of these positions is another thing, you see. So I think that is the major thing on why you should pay, and if you don't pay, what happens.
Okay.
Student President? Sorry. Ms. Samuel, are you done?
Just to add another question on that. So this means that if and the LC, the local chapter has say things that we need to cater for financially, won't it bring a bit of how can I call it? It's okay, will it be very okay? I don't think it's going to be a very viable thing when the local chapter has to look for membership fee, and the MSAKE also seeks membership fee from the students, because we also have like in my school, it's constitutional that members have to pay a subscription fee every year to take part in some activities. So I'm not sure how that will work. Kindly tell me or make it look
Yeah, in that,
sustainable.
I think I'll couple that. I'll couple that with what Nick has asked me about AMSUN, where the students pay subscription fee through the school fees. So basically, if say you are in MSAMU, you've paid your subscription fee normally, MSAMU should then do the same and pay the subscription fee to MSAKE, so you won't need to pay. But now, if you have paid your subscription fee to MSAMU, and then MSAMU fails to remit the same to MSAKE, so, and I am in MSAMU and I want to participate in MSAKE activities. Say I want to vie to be a national officer for scorer, but I've paid my subscription to MSAMU. MSAMU has failed to pay to MSAKE. So I have that option where I can pay my subscription to MSAKE and then I vie. You get. So in that essence, it will be MSAMU has failed you as a student not to subscribe to MSAKE, something that you are interested in as a student. Maybe not all students are interested in, that's why MSAMU didn't pay to it. So I think that is where it removes that burden. If I pay to MSAMU and I'm a student there, and then MSAMU pays to MSAKE, I don't need to pay to MSAKE again. But now if MSAMU fails to pay to MSAKE and I've paid my subscription fee at the local chapter, I have that option where I can pay to MSAKE directly and I vie. I think that.
Just one last thing. Don't you think this will bring a lot of tension between the students and the local chapter executive board?
You see, what I think is it will make the local chapter executive board to be, say, if our school guys have paid the fee and have not paid to MSAKE, they have now the right to ask me, why haven't you paid? And we have tried to do this. So it will give that final push where we've been that's what has been lacking from the local chapters. But now, if say there's a big problem of money in the school, there's no money, and your students know that MSAMU has no money, they can now just do directly to MSAKE instead of enduring the suffering, and they want to participate in MSAKE activities. So I think in the long run, if you look at it in a positive way, it will help MSAKE a lot.
President of AMSUN.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robin. Collins, I have to say this is well thought out. I think you read my mind. I hope you've read my mind even in the motions to come, because I didn't have time to submit one. So in terms of AMSUN, how it's usually done, the university has an activity fee for every student in every college. So the activity fee is around 500. But for you to trigger that activity fee to be released, there has to be an event that you're doing, or there has to be an expense that you intend to incur on. So that is number one thing to clarify. So in terms of whether students will be happy to pay again, as Collins has said, I think it will be positive pressure from MSAKE side, because that pressure will now be transmitted to the local chapter president and the entire executive board in general, and which in turn will work for MSAKE in the long. So I think this is a good suggestion and it's well thought out. So yeah, I think students will generally be happy to pay again, but they will be paying while asking the local chapter leadership, what are you doing for us who are interested in some of these things? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Would anyone else like to contribute before I close the speakers list?
Yes, please.
Yes, Nick.
Yeah, I think I'll be using the clapping now that I'm unable to raise my hand. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's overall a good suggestion, and it will alleviate, as I said before, most of the problems, and importantly, put pressure on the local chapter. Because if I, as a member of MSAMU, has paid my subscription fee to MSAMU, then MSAMU executive board should be responsible enough to pay the subscription fee on behalf of every other student to MSAKE, which is fixed. And I think that is something that we need to correct on, because if students are subscribing locally, then the local chapter needs to subscribe nationally on behalf of the students. As regards to Colin's question on how we are going to ensure that people don't subscribe when the calls are coming in, I think we can we can specify a period, an annual period for subscription, both from local chapters and from individual members, say at the beginning of the term, let's say between January and March, or between March and May, whatever we agree on, so that every local chapter which is submitting the subscription is submitting at that particular time, because now we don't have a defined period that for the year 2020 or 2021, 2022, you're supposed to pay between this month and this month, and therefore you find some people pay at the beginning of the term of office, and others pay at the end of the term of office. And yet, if you pay at the end of the term of office, it will not even help those who are in office, because they cannot use it anymore. And it should be factored in as part of that budget for the year, because some of the expenses, such as the FMSA membership fee, come around July, and that money needs to have come in. So if we put a defined period for local chapter and individual student subscription period, then within that period, everyone will subscribe, and you will know who is a full member of MSAKE, who is enjoying all the benefits and who is not enjoying all the benefits. So I think that's important to avoid that bit of subscribing towards the end of the year or when the calls are being made.
Thank you, Nick. Mukumsa, President.
I don't know if a motion has been put before, but if maybe, I don't know if this is the right time to give an amendment or something to be added on this, but just to comment on what Nicola said, you necessarily, there's money in the bank of an association is never you can't say that even if whatever time they'll pay, money in the account of an association is just money, and it's an important money. It can even be used to clear the debt incurred by the association. So I think what Collins has already stated here, it's a good thing, and we should like have prior, like a month before the motion to be put out, or we can also say weeks before the motion to be put out, because basically maybe the student is considering options of buying or not of buying. Or also we can have an option whereby the student is also looking up to the association to clear the debt. So saying like we should have early when someone paying the debt when immediately after the resumption of office, that will be tricky because some students literally are confused at that time. They've not even seen the services put out. You see, the major thing when it comes to paying subscription money is buying the hearts of the members so that they love you, in fact, and they feel proud to pay the money. So the time to have them pay should not necessarily be restricted to immediately after resumption of office or after some time when someone has resumed office. You should like give them that time to have the privilege of thinking and all that. So on the amendment, you'll tell me if I can give it right now or I'll wait for a later time.
When I make a call for amendments, you may add your amendment. You met Mr. President?
Yes, so let me now put my thoughts into the duration bits. I think what Nicholas has said is partly true, but I want us to remember that on Tuesday, we passed out an amendment that schools are, when the new tenure comes in, schools will be given 3 months, within 3 months to clear their fee or to talk with the FO on how they're going to clear. So now I think the personal, after the 3 months, if say the UMESA has not paid, then now you can open up for the personal payments. Because now if I pay in the first month, and then in the second month UMESA pays, it's more like I've done it twice. But now if I wait for 3 months, then UMESA does not pay, then I can now, it can be in my side now to say, probably UMESA won't pay, but I want services of MSAKE. So I then pay. So I think the opening of that opening should be, let's say after 3 months, the 3 months have lapsed, then the universities that have paid are announced, those ones have paid, so students, you don't have to pay. So that some will want to get that information. So after that 3 months, the ones that are paid are announced so that the students know, so they don't have to pay. They'll enjoy all the benefits. Then those ones who have not paid are given, say, this is what now I was saying, say between now that 3rd month, we can do another like 2 months, where we say now you're open for your personal contributions. And it's also at the same time where if say our students have subscribed to us and we have not paid, they have that time to pressure us to pay, or they have seen that there's a problem in medicine, they won't pay, let me pay personally. But now we have to put a limit at the end so that they don't just wait, and then when we do a call, I think it's always in November somewhere there. When you do a call now, they start paying so that they can apply. That is where now the tricky bit is. We make sure that guys who are paying are also guys who are participating. We're just not interested in the money. So my proposal is, one, the money to be 150 per student per year, and the duration be from the 3rd month of office, let's say another 3 months. So the 3rd to 6th month of office. That's my thinking. Thank you.
Nicholas?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I agree with what Collins has said, but there are some local chapters. For example, Jekusma, from the discussions during the president session, I think what Emmanuel was trying to say is that Jekusma is not maybe in a position to pay for their students. So if we have like local chapters that are sure from the beginning that they are not able to pay on behalf of their members, so why wait until 3 to 6 months later when they fail to pay? Then we open it up to students. Maybe what we can do is we can have like the local chapter associations declare that yes, we are able to pay, and if we don't pay by this period, then you can open it. And the others who will say that we cannot pay at all, so just open it to our students. Whoever wants to subscribe will do during that period. So instead of waiting for the third month is June, and the 6th month is September. So if you wait between June and September, most of the people will pay in September. FMSA fees is normally paid in July. By 15th July, you should have cleared the fee. So if everyone pays in September and you are supposed to clear in May, in July, then you'll have already been suspended. So how do we cap that? I think instead of making it 3 to 6, we can make it 2 to 4, 2nd to 4th month after office, so that we cater for that period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Actually, yeah, Nick, you're right. If I'm unable to pay and I'm the president, I can tell them, I can say it out loud so that we just pay. Yeah, true, very true. I agree with that.
Jekusma president?
Now, my question is, what happens to the members who want to vie for the two top positions and have been actively participating in MSAKE and have even paid the fee on a personal level directly to MSAKE? And yet,
Hi, sorry, we can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, what happens to those members whose associations have not paid the subscription fee, but they've been actively participating and have paid directly to MSAKE and would wish to vie for the two top positions?
Okay. My thought on it is that what we are trying to do is not make the ultimate goal for this in my thinking when I was drafting this, that all associations are able to pay. So we have to put a price tag to it so that it is lucrative for you to pay, because it will be easy for me just to wait as UMETSA and say, let the students who are interested to do MSAKE activities, they just pay. But now some of my students might be interested in vying for F4 and SG. That now should push UMETSA to pay this subscription as a whole, because eventually it's cheaper. And by the time you are vying for F4 or SG, if, for example, I don't know if Ezra is here, if by the time Ezra is vying for SG and you're coming to tell us you're going to marshal up 9 universities to be able to be paying subscription fees and so on, you must have at least shown that your university, you have done something in your university, in your local chapter, that proves your leadership per se. So I think I put it to be like a price tag so that it can also make us not to leave this subscription money in total. Because if we don't put it that way, I don't think universities will now be paying, would have just scrapped it off totally. So that's why I put it up there, so that at least it can be lucrative for universities to marshal up these guys who are interested in paying the subscription fees. If it's 150, it's around 70 students. And then you pay, and then I think it would be even cheaper because we have like 600 plus students in most of these universities. So that is my thought.
Some president?
Okay, so what's the point of having the students pay directly to MSAKE if at the end of the year, then we would have to still come back and pay the full amount? And another question is there so does this mean that, say, an association can decide it's going to pay this year and nothing is going to, or okay, let's say an association is going to decide we can't pay this year, maybe we'll pay in the next 4 years, and nothing happens to this association?
Yes. One, if they pay to you and you pay to them, and you pay like if say Msamu pays, they don't need to pay. That is one thing you should keep in mind. Two, if say Msamu is unable to pay this year, and one of your students wants to enjoy MSAKE, what MSAKE's activities per se, not the activities, but to enjoy what MSAKE offers, they can decide to pay on themselves. But also remember, what we passed on Tuesday is that if you don't pay on 3 consecutive years, you are eligible to, I think, suspension or something. So there's that bit. That is another cap onto it. But now in the middle of before it's 3 consecutive years, say for example, JQuat wants, one of the students wants to vie for SG and they have not paid, they won't be able to. You see, that's now the catch, said that if between in the next 3 consecutive years and I have students who want to vie for SG and F4, I should pay as the president to be able for them to vie. That one helps MSAKE. We need to look at it not as a JQuat president or JQuat student. We need to look at it as MSAKE because it helps MSAKE to get the money. But if say in the 3 years, I don't have anyone who wants to vie for F4 or SG, but I'm sure there are students in JQuat who want to enjoy these MSAKE activities, vie for Scorer, publications, ICT, they can just pay directly, and J. Kusma has not paid anything, but them, they pay directly, they vie, their president will vote because the vote will still be there, they'll vote as their president, but now when the 3 years lapse, now it's another, it's like, this is like the rate limiting stop, like now you have to pay. You understand? I think it's much clearer. Let's not look at it as a burden, but let's look at it as it is helping MSAKE to have the cash to run the office.
Okay, thank you. But so at the end of this year, can I just pay for one subscription, like for 1 year, or I have to pay the entire debt for 3 years?
Now you'll have debt. You'll have like a debt of 2 years, but you'll have reduced. If say I've not paid, say 2018, 2019, and 2020, but by 2021 it'll be 4 years. Then I pay. It has reduced my debt to 2 years. You get.
So there's really no point having subscription fees. If in the end you still have to pay the 3 months, I don't see why the students have to pay directly. But anyway, because in the end you're still accruing debt. It's not like now that the students have paid, then you're debt free. Yeah. So I don't see the need to have to pay the entire membership fee or accrue debt if you don't pay, and then your members still have to pay to MSAKE. It doesn't make financial sense to me. Anyway.
President J. Kusma?
I believe what I wanted to ask President Msamu has already addressed.
Okay. Mkumsa, President?
I think at the end of the day, we don't want to hurt anyone. And it's not like we want to punish anyone. At the end of the day, we want to raise money for the taxes. So concerning giving the assumption whether the local chapter should pay the full amount of it, if they have a debt of like, let's say 3 years, and they make it an effort to pay like for 2 years or even for 1 year, MSAKE has raised money and MSAKE has attained its goal. So the other money, they've shown, the local chapter on the other hand, they've shown progress of paying. So that's what we want at the end of the day, to raise money and again, not to punish anyone.
J. Kusma, President?
In the event that an association has been suspended and some of its members have been actively paying the fees directly to MSAKE on their own, what happens to them in that instance?
You meant the President?
Now, in these instances, I don't think what we want to achieve is an association to be suspended, and this is why I'm trying to make you guys look at it on the positive side. Don't look at it as now it's like you're not going to pay all through it. But now if you for 3 years you've not paid anything and then you're suspended, it basically means say if it's Egerton, basically means UMETSA won't be part of MSAKE.
Does anyone else want to contribute anything?
Okay, so Colin, I've been paying personally for the past 3 years, and my association has not been submitting the 10,000 annual fee. I will also be automatically suspended from being a member of MSAKE.
I think so, because I think at first, I say, for example, I'm in Egerton. I think I am first a UMETSA member before I become a MSAKE member. You see, it's like, I think, because MSAKE is made up of the 9 local chapters. Now, if my local chapter is suspended, and I think the word there is suspended, it's not expelled per se. So if my local chapter is if Egerton is suspended, meaning it has, like, for lack of a better word, cut off the link from MSAKE. So it is up to us to rejoin the link, basically, yes. But I don't think if your people will allow you not to pay for all the 3 years. If we go with this, they'll pile up pressure on especially the students who, especially in universities where they pay either the subscription fee through the fees or they pay through annual subscriptions to the local chapters. It basically won't happen.
Nicholas?
Thank you. Yeah, I have a suggestion which we can think about, just to avoid all these issues that Msamu and Jekusma are bringing up regarding what if students pay from an association and then the association is still expected to pay. You know, there can be a situation where once an association is not able to pay the subscription to MSAKE and we open that opportunity to members, it's possible that a majority of members who would have subscribed to MSAMU subscribe to MSAKE. So the Cheryl question is, will we still want MSAKE to pay? MSAMU to pay. That is like double subscription. I think we can, from the beginning, from the very beginning, we can have the local chapters decide whether they want to pay on behalf of their students henceforth, or they would want the students in their local chapters to subscribe individually. Then going forward, then we will not be we will not be charging those local chapters like annual subscription, because their students are the ones who are being charged annual subscription. But for those who choose to be paying for their members the standard fee, then the local chapter will be liable to paying the subscription, and after 3 years, if they have not paid, they're suspended. I don't know, that is just a suggestion, and I think it would help that problem. Yeah, if you agree with it.
President Msamu?
Okay, thank you, Nick and everyone who's given the suggestions. So there is a point that Collins made. He said that you are first a member of UMETSA before you are a member of MSAKE. And I think this would also be like disrupting the structure that we have, because let's say we were paying to FMSA, MSAKE was paying to FMSA, which it does, but then MSAKE wasn't able to pay the full subscription fee. So the MSAs decide that we'll start paying directly to FMSA. Something doesn't very sit pretty right with me, but anyway, that's not the point. So I have a suggestion. What if when the students pay to MSAKE, that money is counted as is added to as part of them, like for example, my MSc and SAMU, that money becomes part of SAMU's fees. Like 100 students from my school pay 15,000 because it's 150, so it'll be 15,000. That is counted as SAMU's membership fee. So that makes the debt null. That's my suggestion. When the 5,000 can be carried over to the next year. Yeah, that's my suggestion. Thank you.
Nick? Thank you, President
Thank you.
Musamu.
Thank you. What Cheryl has just proposed, in my opinion, I don't think is a very good idea, because then you're saying that 100 students from your school will be responsible for your association, that once they pay, they have catered for every other student in Moi University. I don't think it's fair for those students. If they are paying, let them enjoy the benefits that they're paying. If the local chapter decided to pay for their members and was not able to, then it's up to the local chapter to know how they are going to sort that with the national association. And then the first point you brought up is very important, that these students are first members of their local chapter before they are members of MSAKE. And yet this is true. There are local chapters that have not chosen to have their members pay subscription to their local chapters, and therefore they are not able to pay their membership to MSAKE. So if you still want your students first to subscribe to the local chapter, you must find a way of making them members by having them pay subscription to the local chapter association, so that you as an association, because you subscribe to MSAKE, you are able to pay that membership fee. If you are not able to implement that in your local constitutions, then it makes no sense to inhibit that step of students wanting to directly subscribe to MSAKE, because it's up to you to be responsible for your students. If you don't want them to be members of MSAKE directly, then be responsible enough, collect enough membership fee to pay to MSAKE. I think that makes sense. Thank you.
UMATSA President.
Thanks. I think this, I'll again say, let's think about this positively. I'll take Cheryl's example. By the time 100 students from Moi University are paying directly to MSAKE, as the president of Moi, why don't those 100 students pay to MSAMU, and they paid, say it's 150, for example, in MSAMU, that's 15,000. And then you only pay 10,000 to MSAKE, and you remain with 5,000 in your local office and run MSAMU with it. I think by the time you're getting such a huge number, or let me say such a number of students, say now you'll get 300 students subscribing in, say, in your university, then you get 300. Will you now say we are refunded, or return the money? Isn't it easy for those 300 to just pay to MSAMU, and then MSAMU pays to MSAKE? I think that's like beating the whole logic. What we wanted to do is, if a school knows that we are not going to be able, it just tells the students, hey, this year we won't be able to pay, so you feel free. You can now, as in, it is, we are giving students the option, because you might have, let's say, 3 or 4 students who want to participate in MSAKE, and they're medical students. But if you're having a huge number, I think it will just go through the local chapter. And then, as in, let's not look at let's be positive with it and run with it.
Musamu President. Thank you, UMATSA.
Okay. Thank you for those comments, Nick and Collins. So I'm going to start. I think when I said 100, maybe it got maybe let me use a number like, say, let me give an example actually. So last year, not this year we didn't collect membership fee because of COVID, and we weren't in school, so we didn't expect students to pay. But like last year, around say 60, let's say 50, 60 students paid, yeah? They paid membership fee to MSAMU. If so, let's take 50. let's take 30. So if 30 students decide they want to pay membership fee directly to MSAKE, this will be 4,500, yes, from my school association. This also goes to Nick when he said something to do with if these people they can't carry MSAKE or my association on their back. Not everyone in the association pays at the end of the day. Even that 60 people who paid, they did get some benefits, yes. But in the end, at the end of the day, all some students had the benefit of still being part of MSAMU either way. So, and that's like part of the money that was used to pay MSAKE membership fee, and not everyone paid. Anyway, so if my students pay 4,500, this year I have not paid. That means I have accrued debt, which is 10,000. Okay. So if I pay last year's debt this year, that means I have paid 14,500 to the association. That does not make financial sense for my association. But if members from my association pay 4,500 to MSAKE, then the next year I have a debt of 5,500, which is 10,000 minus 4,500. Then that makes financial sense, because now we can find money to pay this year's 10,000 and last year's 5,500. But to tell me to pay 14,500 doesn't make financial sense for me as the president of my association. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Mukumsa, President.
I can't talk right now. I'm working, but once I get a quiet place, I can contribute.
All right. Nick?
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. So my question is very simple. Why would a student from Moi University, say, want to subscribe directly to MSAKE and not subscribe to MSAMU, and yet MSAMU is calling for members to subscribe locally first? Why would someone want to jump from MSAMU and go to MSAKE? Why? It doesn't make sense. You can still collect that fee and pay part of it to MSAKE.
Well, as you said, sometimes as how you have mentioned, not you necessarily, but as everyone has mentioned over and over, you said something that like if your association thinks that they will not be able to pay the membership fee this year, they can tell the students, hey, we are not able to pay the membership fee, just pay directly to MSAKE. You said something like that, yeah, didn't you? Or someone said something like that, and I think you agreed with it. So yeah, I think that's all.
Kusma, President.
On this, I think I'll have to side with MSAMU President, because the moment you have submitted that money, it's part and parcel of what members from that association have submitted. As you have all clearly said, before you're members of MSAKE, you have to be members of the individual local chapters. So you're not paying that, you're paying that subscription fee because you're a member of JKUSMA or AMSUN or MKUMSA or something. You're not paying that fee individually. Because at the end of the day, again, as you've mentioned, if my association is suspended, you are also automatically suspended. And the reasoning behind this, as the motion is stating, sometimes you might want to vie for an individual position. Let's say you want to be a national officer and your association is not in a position to pay that money. So you opt to pay for that fee by yourself. You see, you have paid that fee on because you're a member of a local chapter, not because you're an individual. So for me, it will make more sense if the money remitted to MSAKE eventually is credited to the individual local chapter, because I don't think we have a provision for having individual members subscribing to MSAKE. So for instance, right now, we cannot ask members of Kisii University or Masinde Muliro to directly subscribe to MSAKE because they still don't have a local chapter out there. But the minute their local chapters subscribe to MSAKE, then the local chapters will be responsible for them. So my thought is, the Msamu president has made a good suggestion, and for me, it would make more sense than just having the money directly remitted to MSAKE and it's not accounted for as belonging to a local chapter.
Thank you, Jekosma. Msau president.
Okay, so on this whole issue, I think UMETA had a very good idea that we as local chapters we are going to announce when we are sure we are not going to be able to meet our obligation, our financial obligation with MSAKE. And we are not actually dealing with huge sums of money. You're only dealing with the people who are going to want to pay directly to MSAKE are only those people who are going to vie, most probably. High chances are only those people are going to be interested in paying directly to MSAKE. So the issue of making financial sense or this money being part of local chapters contribution to MSAKE should not arise. They should just the money should just be considered to be the individual from this local chapter who has paid it, because they're not dealing with huge sums of money and probably a very small fraction of what a local chapter is supposed to contribute.
Thank you. Nkomsa?
My contribution, I really want to applaud everyone for the good contributions you guys are giving and the thoughtful minds you're putting into this. So my contribution is, I suggest that we can have a class whereby the president, the local chapter president can sell their subscription rights. They can sign off their subscription rights to MSAKE, whereby in case they've failed to reach their if they see they'll be unable to clear the debt in time, they can come into an agreement with MSAKE after the members who are willing to pay directly to MSAKE reach out to the president. They can come into an agreement with MSAKE and they sign off the subscription rights, whereby they will allow those members to subscribe directly to MSAKE, so that we will not have this instance where presidents will be complaining that 100 students paid and we don't pay that amount of money. So these students who want to pay directly to MSAKE will have gone through the president, and then the president will have signed with MSAKE an agreement that this money will be paid to cater for this. Or rather, if the money is a lot, the association will also agree or see if they'll use the money to clear the association's debt, or something of that sort, and figure out the things on their own behind the scenes. Yeah, that's something I thought like.
Thank you. UMETA president.
Thanks. I've been listening keenly, and I think it's making some sense to it. But what I want us to, what I think it makes sense, and it should come maybe as part of the amendments or an addition to the clauses that I've put forward in this motion. But now I think what we need to do is say, for example, UMETSA students, they pay up to 8,000. 8,000 will mean like this is say year 2020. I think it will be okay if UMETSA students pay and it becomes 8 Gs. We just UMETSA we are having a balance of 2 Gs. I think that's okay. But what I think we should do is, because this is more like an MSAKE initiative looking for students to pay directly. If UMETSA students pay and it's up to 15,000, we don't carry over. you say that is 2020 UMEDSA, you reach your target of 10,000 year subscription, but the one that is extra in that 2020 will be the MSAKE initiative that has gone to the students. Because if UMEDSA wanted that to be their money, they would have collected it from students, then give MSAKE 10 Gs and remain with the 5 Gs. So I think so that we can make it, because what we want to do, we don't want also to water down UMEDSA in Egerton. Because now if I'm having like 200 students paying to MSAKE directly, and then I'm having in UMEDSA around 50 or so students paying, I'm watering down UMEDSA in my local chapter. So I think I agree. I agree with the option that Cheryl and I think Gogo and also Zedi has touched on. We put it in a way that there's a maximum to it. Like I think MSAU, their contribution is 5,000. But if they do contribution and it is 7,000, we'll only record that year MSAU has already paid their 5 Gs, but the 2,000 that is on top, that is like, we can, in quotes, bonus from MSAKE doing a good job and many students going to subscribe. But I'm sure next year, what MSAU would do, they would make sure that those subscriptions pass through them, then they filter, take 5,000, give to MSAKE, and remain with the 2,000. In that way, we have killed two birds with one stone. We have made MSAU better, and we've made MSAKE better. So I think we should add that somewhere. I think, Cheryl, maybe does that make you happier? Hopefully.
I will close the speakers list in 5 minutes. Mukomsa.
So my contribution is, as I had said earlier, if maybe we can adjust that to maybe who want to subscribe directly to MSAKE pass through the PC, so that the PC can evaluate, and if the money is enough to, I'll use an example of our school. We have an agreement that those who pay the subscription money enjoy the full privileges of our association, but those who fail to pay the full amount, they enjoy some part of our activity. So if we can have the money before paying it directly, then it happens that the money is enough to clear the debt for the association, then the association later can figure out how to take care of these guys who help clear the association debt.
Thank you. Jay Kusma?
What if we say, if the individual members have surpassed the 10,000 mark, or whatever the subscription fee will be agreed upon, because the work of the local chapters is to support MSAKE, and also the work of MSAKE is to strengthen the local chapters. So my thoughts will be, if that amount has been surpassed, then MSAKE remits that money to the local chapters instead of carrying it over, because the local chapters might be having a problem. For instance, if I estimate I'm going to accumulate 12,000 shillings from collecting the money individually at my local chapter. If I have 12,000 shillings for my budget that year, there's no way I can submit 10,000 to MSAKE and remain with 2,000, because my activities at the local level would have been crippled. So my suggestion will be, if there's any amount above the subscription fee, or maybe we put another cutoff figure, whichever that will be, then the excess from that amount be remitted back to the local chapters.
I don't think I agree with the remission bit, because that now will be basically MSAKE will be taking the work of your work basically to do, and remitting that will be like, I don't know. I think that will be weakening Jekusma more than strengthening it, because now if you see that this year you've had like an excess guys subscribing to MSAKE, not to JQuat. Next year, I'm sure JQuat will do more to like do it through JQuat, and that will be strengthening JQuat. That's my thoughts.
Okay, my thought
Jay
in this,
Kusma?
my thought in this, if I know I'm going to collect money at the end of the year, I'm going to have around, let's say, 8,000 shillings. So I tell my members, based on the trajectories of the previous year, what I estimate to collect this year, the association will not be able to submit money to MSAKE. So you guys make your individual payments. At the end of the day, we have, say, 11,000 shillings. If those members submitted 11,000 shillings to J Kusma, there's no way I'm going to give 10,000 shillings to MSAKE and remain with 1,000 shillings at my local level. But they have made those submissions because I had already informed them, because of what we have anticipated, we will not be able to make full payment to MSAKE for that particular year. So I think it would make more sense if, although I highly doubt if any association, any local chapter will be having 100 people subscribing directly to MSAKE instead of their local chapters. But in the event that happens, I think it wouldn't really hurt if we just remit 1,000 shillings or 2,000 shillings to the local chapter. Although I agree it will be very unlikely for 100 people to directly subscribe to MSAKE. Thank you.
1 minute before I close the speakers list, would anyone like to add something finally? Msamu?
Okay, so if the students know they have an option to pay directly to MSAKE, wouldn't it make it hard for the local chapter itself to collect money from the students? Again, as I said, it would bring a bit of tension, I think. I don't know. What if, but this just beats the whole directly to MSAKE thing. But if they pay to the association chapter, to the local chapter, then that's given to MSAKE. Yeah, instead of paying directly to MSAKE, I think that's just subscription fee. But the students are told that this money is going to MSAKE. But then another problem is accountability. Okay, anyway, let me stop talking. I don't think I've gotten my point right in my head yet.
Thank you, Cheryl. You met, sir.
Yeah, that's to point out a theory. If Msamu pays, your student don't have to pay to MSAKE. That is should be like the background of the story. If Mensa pays, no any other Gato student should pay to MSAKE, basically, unless they want to. And also to Gogo, I agree. I don't think you'll have more than, if you agree that the money is 150, I don't think we'll be having 100 students paying. So I think we just put it out that if some of the guys pay, Mensa guys pay, it will be cutting, like reducing the money from, if we have a debt, it will be reducing our money. I don't think we'll have 100 people. Yeah, I think we can add that, but we know that limit is not going anywhere. So yeah, we can, I don't know if the secretary can add this, because into the motion.
When we get to amendments, the secretary will add whatever amendments he would like. Msao?
I think
Finally.
we should have a specific window when students will be allowed to remit directly to MSAKE, so that this will give a window.
So that has been discussed. The window has been given for 2 to 4 months
2 to 4
after
months.
the election of EB.
Okay, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Msamu?
I'm sorry, I don't think the 2 to 4 month window is feasible, because before the association knows that we are able to pay, I don't think that will be enough time. Also, if elections come at the end of the year, and we know that I can participate in his activities, whether or not I pay the subscription fee. But if I want to run for or vie for anything that I have to pay, that will make me pay in December or November. So even if you put it at 2 to 4 months, I doubt that money will come from the members in MSAKE at that time. Highly doubt. Anyway, yeah, that's all.
Lastly, Nick.
Yeah, I just want to add to respond to what Cheryl has said. I think that suggestion that you just made is based on the fact that you're just looking at it from the aspect of elections and GA, and mind you, that comes towards the end of that term of office. The most important things happen from the time the EB comes into office. They need to be able to deliver to you, not waiting until the end of the year just to be told that you didn't do anything. And in real sense, they were not empowered to start working early. For example, if we are having physical activities, I don't think we would have had any physical activity right now or any physical meeting, because every time we have a physical meeting as executive board, people use their own cash. Like, you have to take your own cash out of your own pocket to pay your transport, let's say from Eldoret to Nairobi, to have a meeting on behalf of an association which has a membership of around 5,500 students. 5,500 students who are not able to pay for transport for their leaders to meetings or to stakeholder meetings. So I don't think it's right to wait until the end of the year just to start giving the money because you want to vie for office. I think the executive boards need to be empowered really early to be able to deliver, because otherwise the President's Council will be here again criticizing them that they didn't do anything. In real sense, they didn't have the power to do it because you didn't give it to them. So that's very important to note. So I think, and again, the duration of 2 to 4 months, it's factoring in the other things that need to be paid for. If we extend the period, let's say 6 to 9 months, and we are supposed to pay subscription, let's say to IFMSA by July, how will we do that? So it's sort of still saying that if you want to pay towards the end of the year, you're telling the executive board you're going to suffer from March to October, and then we'll give you some cash in October, which is not right at all. If you have served in the executive board, I think you know what I'm saying. Okay.
Thank you, Nick. I am closing the speakers list now.
No. Just 1 second. Kindly. Just one comment to Nick. I agree with you that yes, there's money that is required for the EB to run. But the question is, okay, what else apart from elections will make the student want to pay your membership fee directly to MSAKE? That's the question. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. The speakers list is, yes, Nick.
Oh, I thought I was asked a question and I should respond. Should I?
Yeah, you should.
Okay. So I don't think MSAKE is all about elections and holding office. That is something that I don't believe it's true. And if any student wants to be part of MSAKE because of elections and holding office, I don't think that's the right reason at all. And I think that would be watering down everything that we have been trying to do this year. There is much more to MSAKE than just vying for office. That we organize activities for students to take part in, and that is part of the capacity building for students when they are in school to become better healthcare professionals. So we should not be looking at it in terms of elections only. The most important thing happens when activities are being organized and students are being engaged in MSAKE activities and in FMSA activities.
Thank you, Nick. Cheryl.
Okay, sorry. But if the activities are open to all MSAKE members, what makes me want to pay to attend the activity? If it's activities, okay, what makes you want to pay for then the activity selection if I could just go for the activities option?
Nick, would you like to respond?
Okay, yeah, thank you. And that is a very important point that you have brought. And I think the reason why they are paying this subscription fee, if the local chapter is not able to, is for them to be fully included in MSAKE activities. And I don't know if Colin's point of students having an option of paying was solely to be able to take part in elections. I think that is why I also suggested that we are supposed to, we should consider putting a time frame when the students can be allowed to pay, so that they don't wait until the time of elections for them to now pay to show interest. If they want to pay because of an office that will be applied in December, then, and we are saying that the local chapters are being allowed to pay subscription fees, let's say between the second to fourth month, then when we open the option of individual students subscribing, we can also limit it, let's say from fourth to sixth month, so that we ensure that by the time that the call is being made, activities have been done in before. And even if a student wanted to just take part in elections, they have that money that student paid has helped the executive board carry out activities, even though their end goal is not engaged in activities. But also, we should also look into saying if someone has not paid subscription, what should they still be engaged fully in all MSAKE things? Maybe I didn't get that point in Colin's motion. Maybe he could clarify that.
Please clarify.
Thank you. You see, what Cheryl is doing, you're becoming too rigid to it. But let's put it this way. The reason why we have put a time frame to it is because, one, people only want to do this for elections. So they'll only pay when the call is done or when the call is put out. That's why we have to put a limit to it. That's one. Two, the activities where the EB decides who goes. For instance, there's March meeting, there's August meeting, there's SRTs, there's GAs. Those ones will have to make sure those are people who have been subscribed to MSAKE, either through the association, or if the zoo was not able to do that year, it's someone who has done personally. So those are things that, but when you do say an outreach, outreaches, that these other activities they can participate. Like the small ones, you do an outreach in say London, in Nakuru. That one will involve UMETSA, say, and Scora in MSAKE. Those people you can attend. But then there's this other side where you have to be subscribed before you go. You see. But the thing that I want us to keep in mind is that we are not setting this to limit people. We are setting this to elevate the struggles that the EB has in the functioning of MSAKE, such that if we are going to give the EB that is going to come in, if they're going to receive the money, the huge chunk of the money in October and November, and they've been in office since March, there's probably nothing they'll be doing. They'll be now doing handing over to the next time that is coming. So I think for us to continue is we have to put it maybe 2 to 4 months is a bit strict. We can do it up to 6, say July. So that now, say 2 to 6 months, now you can do it 3 to 6 months. That's what I was initially thinking about, because in the constitution we put the first 3 months is for the associations to try and pay. If they're not able now to pay, they can now say, hey, tumejaribu imeshindikana. Students, you can pay, or and then when the students pay, because we are going to add an amendment there, that whatever students pay, if they pay 2,000 or 3,000, it's going to cut off from their budgets, the debt that they are accruing. So I think that helps per se. So it helps UMEDS on one side and also helps MSAKE on the other. Cheryl, are we in the same? Tunapatana kweli?
Tunapatana, but then there is something that if we have a time frame, yeah. So
yes.
And no, listen, we have a time frame, and we are saying that but at the end of this month, no one else is allowed to pay for this pay the membership fee. So, and these people are the ones supposed to take part to vie for positions. Say no one who has paid wants to vie for a position. Then
Sure.
And you've closed the opportunity for people to pay. Does this mean we won't have officials next year? And another thing is, if we have say the GA happens in December, yeah, and some people who did not pay the membership fee during the time frame want to take part in this GA, does this mean you will close them off because this doesn't bring any inclusivity? Does this mean you close them off and tell them because you didn't pay the membership fee at this time, you cannot be part of the GA? Or are we just going to start bending rules again? Because we cannot create a law that know that won't work. End of finished.
By the time you are, these are the things we normally try and avoid in circuits more so, because many people use it as a stepping stone. If someone, if say we agree with the 3 to 6 months issue, that will mean the guys are getting into office in March. So 6 months is September. If by September you've not paid either through your school or personally, it means, and then in November you want to tell me you want to vie to be, say, FO or scorer, no. As in, what happened in this 1 month? Are you going to tell me that there's something changed right now such that you have not been involved in MSAKE all this time? Just when elections are coming, you want to vie. That is just smoking out the bad leaders that we don't want.
Okay, well, so if, like, as you saw, like this time we had like one application or two. So if we don't have any application for scorer, does that mean we will not have a national officer for scorer because they did not show interest before the time frame was over? Interest, quote unquote. Will we have an empty office?
No. You can take it to the bank. We'll have someone who will vie.
It doesn't seem fair.
Last year we had that some national office was not vied for. We did a second call. So it's not like it's a do or die issue.
Okay. So in that case, if you're going to have a time frame and you're going to limit people to vote to be elected, then that means you have to have the call ending at the same time the time frame ends. Because you cannot close the time frame to pay and then you open the call 2 months later and this person wants to pay to join to become a scorer or something, or any of this. Yeah,
Thank
you cannot say that.
We want to close the speakers list now and go to the motion.
Tell them no, I cannot have you because you did not pay the membership.
Think about it this way, Sherry. Isn't it?
Thank you. We're closing the speakers list now to vote on the motion. Keegan, please move to the next part. Are there any amendments to this motion? Would anyone like to add amendments to this motion?
We can't see the motion.
Keegan? Two minutes for anyone who would like to add an amendment. Umeta?
Am I allowed to like amend my own motion? Because we like to add the bit where I don't know, Victor, you can think on how you'll put it down, such that if students pay personally to MSAKE, it will be deducting, like cumulatively deducting from the annual subscription.
Okay, let me do the edit, then I share my screen.
Okay. Oh, and also adding now the amount of 150 per student per annum and the duration of 3 to 6 months after handing over of office. I think it's always in 1st of March. So they are more like addition. So the first one, any member who pays directly without going through the school, they will cumulatively be deducting from the subscription fee of the school. Amount to be 150 per student per annum. Duration 3 to 6 months from beginning of term of office.
Got it loud and clear. Sharing my screen with you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to add an amendment? Msamu, President.
I would like to add, I don't know if it will be another line, but if a student would like to take part in an activity or elect or vie for a position after the time frame, maybe they can pay like 200 instead of 150. Yeah. So how do I say that? But first of all, I'd like to know if Collins would be, if that's a good idea with if Collins agrees with that.
Yes,
Collins,
yes.
do you agree with this amendment?
I agree, but I want to put it to that to be 300. And,
What?
and do this. No, or let's do this. If when you have closed, any other student can pay when they want to either vie or attend these activities. They pay 200, but that 200 does not go to the school account. It will just go to the MSAKE account. It doesn't count in reducing the debt.
Cheryl, do you agree?
Cheryl, that's better.
Okay. Yeah. Then in that case, if we're doing that, then what's the point of having the 5,000 in the 15,000, like the 5,000 not being carried over? But I think
you accepted to be remitted to the university.
At this point, please restrict yourself to the amendment. Are you in agreement about the amendment?
Yes.
fine. I guess.
Okay. Thank you. Any other amendments?
Collins, is that what you were telling me?
Yeah, and I think we forgot to add that if the personal subscription from one university surpasses their yearly contribution, the yearly subscription fee, the excess will be remitted back to the university.
Collins, sorry. I hope I'd like to slightly amend that. What if the added amount goes back to, like, does not count as the membership fee?
It becomes
So like now the 150 can still be counted as part of same Samu's subscription fee, but the 50 goes the 50 goes to MSAKE and is not counted as the subscription fee.
also I wanted to do it to be double, so that 150 goes to MSAKE, 150 goes to the local chapter.
Then 250,
Okay,
then
yeah?
250, not 300, 250.
Okay,
100
so,
goes to MSAKE, and yeah.
so again, we are sorry for this typing, but I think it's good. So if they don't pay, if they pay afterwards, they'll pay 250, 100 will go to MSAKE, and then 150 will go as subscription fee to their university.
Please come again.
The part where if a student pays directly to MSAKE when the window has been closed, they'll pay 250, of which 150 will go to their association and 100 will go to the MSAKE account.
Nicholas, you'd like to raise a point of information? Nick?
Hello, sorry. I didn't hear you.
I was asking if you want to raise a point of information based on what you've written on the chat.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is a point of information. I wanted a clarity on what calendar we are using to define the 3 to 6 months. Is it the MSAKE calendar that is from 1st March to the next year, 1st March, or the annual calendar that starts in January?
Collins?
Yeah, it's 1st March to me. I think we are clear with that. But I think Secretary, before you finish, I think you have done like the 250, 150 will go to the school, then 100 is to MSAKE. Maybe you can correct that.
J. Kusma, point of information or point of order?
Amendments. Hello,
J. Kusma, President?
can you get me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm asking if you closed the amendments.
No, I have not closed the amendment.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking if we allow people from the local chapters who have not paid and who'd like to vie for the SG and FO to pay a much higher amount instead of locking them out altogether. So I'm proposing they pay 800 shillings to be eligible to vie for SG and FO.
Pardon?
I'm suggesting members from local chapters who will not have paid the subscription fee and would like to vie for SG and FO pay 800 shillings, then be eligible to vote instead of locking them out altogether.
Sir, do you agree with the amendment?
Yeah, I'm tempted to agree. Can we do that at 1,000?
J. Kusma, do you agree with 1,000?
1,000 is fine.
Okay. Secretary, please add the amendment.
I think just add.
Just add it in your motion.
Yes, just add in the motion. Because we have agreed.
Again, you can add later, just put the amendment there,
Let's put it
since it has been agreed upon.
Yes, thanks.
Samu, President?
Isn't 1,000 shillings too high? That feels
Point of
burdensome
information, point of
to the
order,
student.
amendment. What is your
Oh,
statement?
sorry, point of info, amendment, sorry. The 1,000 feels a bit high and feels burdensome, in my opinion, might be burdensome for the student. So not 1,000. half of it. It makes, I think it will make MSAKE look like a profit organization rather than an organization for the students and the prosperity of the students. It will, okay, anyway, I think it will give MSAKE a bad face, say that. So I think maybe if you bring it to a more standardized figure, like half of 1,000, which is 500. Yeah.
You met, sir? Would you like to decrease to 500?
No, let's keep it at 100.
Okay. Are there any other amendments? All right. Direct negatives. Are there any direct negatives to this motion? In that case, the motion passes nemo contra. There are no other motions that have been fielded for today. Therefore, I would like to close this plenary session. Nick?
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm getting echo. All right, thank you. And okay, first I have a point of order that I think this is a procedural motion because it's amending the constitution, and by that by the virtue of that, it means that what has been discussed here, this is a point of information now, will take effect from the beginning of the next term, that is March next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick, for that. Well, seeing as this is a procedural motion, I think we should move to an actual vote because this is something that is weighty. So
yeah, that is what I'm
yes. Kindly let's log into Nemo vote. Currently, I can only see Akum's present. Amsun, Yumedsa, Jekusma, Medsam, Mkumsam, Samu, and Musau. Please get online. Amsun, Jekusma, Medsam, Mkumsa.
I can't log into my account. I don't know what the problem is.
Pardon?
I don't seem to be able to log into my account. I'd saved up a password, but now I'm told the password.
Had you changed the password?
Yes, and made it to automatically log me in my computer, but now I'm unable.
Hello.
Hello.
For some reason, my account is also not working. Saying
Let me
incorrect.
resend. Let me resend the login details.
Thank you.
kindly resend it to my personal mail. I use my personal mail, not
Write it on the chat, please. Thompson, President, I've resent yours. Kemumsa, Mkumsa. Medsam.
My account says currently there are no open votes assigned to me.
Because I haven't opened the vote yet.
All right.
Kemumsa?
Oh, yes. Yes. I've actually been raising for quite some time now. There was I don't know if this is going to be procedural, because I wanted to maybe raise a point of information still about the last clause that we added. I hope I can be allowed to do that.
I haven't
Maybe
opened the
as-
vote yet, so yes.
Okay, great. It's about the clause on if a students want to vie for the FO or SG, they need to pay 1,000 shillings. Now, this one is a bit obscure whether or not it's for these students who are coming from universities that have not yet remitted their MSAKE payment, or is it for everyone, regardless whether or not the university has already paid the fee to MSAKE? I guess it's good for us to make that clarification so that it does not become obscure to students or to the readers of the Constitution.
Collins?
Oh, yeah, thanks. I think that's a very fantastic question, and keen eye. Thanks. I think it's only for students from university where that year they were not able to pay the subscription fees.
Right,
Okay.
thank you. So maybe you can make an amendment to make that very clear in the clause.
I think we all agree to that. You just didn't put it in the wordings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just amend it and then continue.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, I'm opening the vote now. Umedsa and Mukumsa. Sorry, give me a second. Again?
Yes.
Could you please open the vote on your side? It's refusing to open on mine.
Okay, sure.
Thanks.
It's also refusing in mine. Let me reduce the wording.
Yeah.
Why don't you just put motion 1? Because we all know what it is, but the wordings are a lot so that it becomes easy.
Okay.
Okay, the vote is open.
Okay. Akums, Amsun, Mkumsa, Msamu, and Musau. Kindly cast your votes. Akums, Amsun, and Mukumsa. Mkumsa, I can see you're not online. The vote closes in 30 seconds.
Chair, I think Mkunza has left the meeting.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So, Akums,
Akums? Okay, the vote is closed. The motion passes by simple majority. Victor? That concludes the motions that were filed for today's plenary session. I therefore close today's sessions and we shall see you tomorrow. Thank you for all the members in attendance as well as observers who have attended today for making the session worthwhile. Umeta, your hand is raised.
Yes, just to say thanks to the presidents for accepting these changes. I believe it will go on a long way to help MSAKE be better.
Thank you, Umeta President. Okay, shall see you tomorrow.
Could I say something?
Thank you.
Yes, Nick.
Viva.
Before anyone leaves, please listen to this. We are going to have the interview of the one person who didn't have interview yesterday. So all the local chapter presidents, please remain for a few minutes, but the candidates can leave the meeting. And if you are not a candidate and you would like to observe, you can also remain behind. Okay, yeah, I think we are set to go now. So the remaining candidate is Laura Jebet, who is vying to be the national officer for Standing Committee of Sexual and Reproductive Health, including HIV and AIDS, commonly known as SCORA. We'll follow yesterday's format of doing interviews, and I hope you have questions with you and have gone through the candidature. Right, so I'm going to let her in now.
I'm sorry, Nick. I think there's still a candidate. Still a candidate, Sarah Murabula.
All right, let me remove her. Yeah, we are good now. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Yes, could you please put on your video?
Is it on?
Yes, it's on. Are you ready to do the interview on the screen?
Okay. Yeah, because of time, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so welcome to this interview. It will take 5 minutes for us to complete this interview. For the beginning, we'll give you 2 minutes to introduce yourself and say why you are vying for this office of Scorer. And then we'll ask you 3 questions, which we'll ask all at once. But in your case, because you don't have anywhere to write, we'll make an exception and ask you one by one so that you answer all. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
And then we'll give you an opportunity to give your closing remark. So it will be a quick one. All right, so we are giving you now 2 minutes to introduce yourself. It's 4:10, so by 4:12 be done.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Kosgei. Currently a member of JKUSMA local chapter. Currently I'm in third year and I am a candidate for the position of National Officer Standing Committee of Reproduction and Sexual Health and Rights, including HIV and AIDS. So I am a person who, I am keen on commitment and I love organization in such a way that I like to organize my things, organize my day. I love planning. The reason I'm vying for the position as the national officer, I've worked under Scorer as a local officer, and I felt like I needed to put myself out more and make my impact be felt more. And that's why I applied to be a national officer. Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that introduction. Now we open the floor for questions, and I would request any local chapter with a question or a participant who want to ask a question. You can raise up your hand and we'll give you an opportunity to speak. Anyone with a question? All right, the first question will be asked by Msamu. Cheryl, you have the floor.
Okay, hi Laura. How are you?
I'm fine.
Awesome. So my question is, why would you? I didn't get from your introduction why you want to be the next national officer for Scorer. So if you could kindly enlighten me on that. Why specifically Scorer?
All right, thank you. Laura, you can take that.
Okay, so why specifically Scorer is because from earlier on, I realized I'm passionate about sexual reproductive health and all the matters surrounding it. Earlier on, I was a very strong advocate for safe abortion. And when I came to medical school, I found Scorer and I realized it's somewhere I can still express myself, and I found my advocacy will be felt there well. So Scora is where I identify myself better with, and that's why I applied specifically for Scora. And then my application to be the national officer, I have been working around with, I worked with Atia, I have worked with Barbara, and so I felt prepared and equipped to take on that position as a challenge, not only to me as a person, but also to, yeah, mostly as a challenge to me myself, yeah.
All right, thank you for that response. I would like to ask the second question. If you look at the work that Scora has done, and it's good now that you have been part of the team, you will realize that they have done a lot, and I think it's one of the most active committees we have in MSAKE. So looking at what they have done so far, what do you think are some of the weak areas that they have not been able to deliver to the maximum? And secondly, what unique thing are you bringing to Scora, or do you want to bring to Scora? What has that will leave a legacy for you, that yes, this person got to this office and this is what they did and this is what is outstanding for them?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So regarding the weaknesses we have had, this year has had, number one, I would like to point out the reach of Scora activities. For example, when you check our social media accounts, none of them have a following, or each post doesn't reach to at least 1,000 people. Most of them are up to 600, and that's, I think, one place we failed. And also the attendance to the meeting. Yes, Scora has been organizing a lot of online activities, but you will find in every session at least a maximum of up to 200 people attend. That's not bad, but I would like to extend that reach. So when I will be given the work of national officer, one of the things I intend to do is to broaden our scope, not only to be that Scora is only for medical students. Yes, the members of the association, the members of the standing committee will be medical students, but our reach can go beyond that. We can go beyond, we can go to our environment, to the people, community surrounding us, to our colleagues. So that's one of the things I would like to bring on to Scora, extending our public reach. And then another thing, I would also like to introduce a Scora newsletter, just to at least maybe once or twice a year, to inform the members and even the community of what Scora has been up to in the recent past. If you look at during the MSAKE newsletters, yes, each standing committee is given a section, but it's not enough sufficient space for each local chapter to expound well on the activities they have been doing during the time. So yeah, that's what I would like to bring on the table.
Thank you. If you have a question, please raise your hand so that I can see it. And this is also open to observers. You can raise your hand up. And as you raised your hand, I also have a question, a follow-up question regarding what you're saying about production of newsletters. Because Scora is part of MSAKE. Scora is part and parcel of MSAKE, and through MSAKE is why Scora is able to reach IFMSA. So by saying that you'd like to introduce publications by Scora, how will you prevent the conflict between Scora and the Office of the Publications? Because we have an Office of Secretary for Publications. How are you going to avoid that?
Simply by involving them. It won't be like a Scora. It won't be like Scora writes it on its own and sends it to its reach. I think I believe in sequence and leadership and hierarchy. So I believe we will be going through publications.
Okay, thank you. Anyone with a question? Sorry, I've discovered that I was talking to myself. Is there any question from anyone? So 10 seconds, if you have any question, we are going to close this session. First questions. Okay, no one has a question. Now we give you an opportunity to tell us your final remarks.
So my final remarks will be, I will be ecstatic and pleasant to serve MSAKE as a national officer. But if the opportunity does not come to me, I will still wholeheartedly support the person it will go to, because yeah, it's my passion to promote sexual and reproductive health. So regardless of the outcome, I will still be happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that is a very important point, supporting the person who gets in, even if you don't get. And that's a very good virtue. Otherwise, we have come to the end of this interview, and I wish you all the best in the upcoming elections tomorrow, and all the best. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. You can now leave. All right. So tomorrow we'll be having our elections, same time for the plenaries, 2 p.m. The same link will be used as this one, and see you there. And observers, you are also welcome to attend the plenaries. Thank you.